Hotep, Black Power, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors. As always, giving honor to my sister, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, my father, my in-laws, family, and comrades who are in the ancestral realm as we speak, and for the family and brothers and sisters out there, especially those who are fighting in the liberation and salvation of the black nation. Excuse me. I have a few things that I want to discuss today, and first of all, I want to, give props to, my uncle who recently passed, who made his transition yesterday, and I just want to take the time, to give him his rightful honors, because he has been a very exceptional uncle, excuse me, and always have been an inspiration. He was a professional musician, as well as retiring from the federal government. But his talents as being a professional musician with the piano, he has played in hundreds and hundreds of funerals and weddings, and played at a place in Washington, D.C., a club called the Market Inn, a jazz club, where he played there for, 30 years, and, for over 30 years, and very, very special brother. He had a long bout with diabetes, and, now he's, on his way. And this is, we ask the Creator, that we make his journey a peaceful journey. And we ask the ancestors and the Creator to embrace him, Brother George Tillman. And, we wish him well. We ask that his energy comes back to help us, those of us who are and were connected to him, that still could use a lot of that ancestral energy, to continue our journey on this plane, while we're still here. But very, very, very powerful, well-respected uncle that, very smooth. He was a ladies' man and what have you, and, when Michael Jackson said the phrase that, I'm a lover, not a fighter. And that was my uncle, because my father basically had to take up for him, because my uncle, wasn't into the physical altercation world, so to speak. However, he was a lover, and as well as exceptional, powerful, highly wismatic individuals. So we wish that brother well in his travels, and and to my aunt and to my cousins, we send out, on behalf of the street law soldiers and my family, we send out deepest condolences to you all, in this time of, grieving prior to the celebration of his life, so, to my Uncle Icky, Hotep, Black Power, I wish you the best. You were very, very inspirational to me in my endeavors. You always had encouraging words to say, to uplift anyone that was, that was going through anything. And also, let me mention this. He gave a family cookout free of charge for nearly 40 years. rain or shine. Every Memorial Day, he, you know, they say as far as back as the mid 60s till the early 2000s, he gave these cookouts, and you know, free of charge. No one had to bring nothing. Just bring yourself. You know, and yeah, you know, and that brought a lot of the family together. You know, so you know, I don't know why I was about to leave that out. You know, one of the most important things about, you know, Uncle Icky, as you know, what we call him. So, you know, I'd like to say thank you. You know, thank you for everything you've done for us. Hotep, Black Power. Now I want to talk about O.J. Simpson. His parole hearing yesterday. First of all, when have you ever heard of someone having a parole hearing on national TV? A fucking parole hearing on national TV. And see what it is, that they're not finished with O.J. Simpson, because he's determined that he's gonna be a fucking cracker after he has murdered, or was acquitted of murdering, two so-called imposter Jews, white Jews, two so-called white Jews. And the reason why I say white Jews, for those who are slow, is because the black man and woman are the original Jews. But he was acquitted for being charged with murdering his wife and this other so-called white Jew, Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson, who was a glorified whore, who was a waitress and a glorified whore. She was selling pussy, and OJ was a customer, and he fell in love with this Ice 8. He fell in love with the cave bitch, and got to the point where I don't know if he's guilty of killing them, but he probably had a hand in it, and I'm not mad at him. You know, I'm not mad at him. But the thing about OJ is, every time white supremacy puts their foot in his ass, he runs back to the black community hollering help and expect us to help him. He did that shit twice. He did that on the murders, and then he did that with this breaking and entering, or this robbery charge, this shit he was charged with. Now, the parole panel was all white, and they made him talk like he was in fucking elementary school. That he would be a good boy, he would be a good nigga, and he would do the right thing. He would do everything white supremacy tells him to do. And that was so humiliating for anyone to have to go through that, having a parole hearing on national television. That's how bad that they want OJ's head on the plate. But he still wants to be around these goddamn crackers. He still enjoys being in the presence of these motherfucking devils. He wants to be a cracker. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. And I'm no O.J. Simpson fan. However, you know, for him to have to go through that, and that's just to let you people know that don't understand how this motherfucking prison industrial complex shit goes. This is what all brothers and sisters have to go through behind them motherfucking walls. You know, that's just a taste, and they formalized it, because it's 100 times worse at a parole hearing for someone that is not a high profile figure. So just think about that. You know, just think about, you know, what our brothers have to go through, you know, on that level. You know, in terms of dealing with you know, this parole and probation shit. You know, parole is different from probation because these parole officers are more like your motherfucking parents. You know, and they talk to you greasy. They always constantly threatening you. You know, and their job is to belittle your ass. And the reason being is because a lot of those parole officers, you know, they have all sorts of complexes, you know, and secret hidden jealousies towards the black man that has been through the prison industrial complex. You know, like I have discussed in various video clips of how you have a lot of these brothers out here that, you know, that are haters to the brothers that have been in, because you can tell a brother that's been inside, he has a certain swag, he has a certain character about him, he has a certain way of dealing with certain situations, you know. But the thing that makes you other niggas hate on him is because a lot of queens are turned on by that swag, by that particular swagger that the black god has, that's been in those you know, various institutions. So, you know, but the O.J. Simpson trial was just, you know, a belittling, you know, a session that was made, you know, nationally televised for the world to see white supremacy break a black man down. You know, and they literally broke him down, even though he was granted parole. But let me give you an example. Any other parole hearing, it's just a couple of questions I ask. They make sure you have somewhere to go. If your residence has been verified and your institutional conduct has been in compliance for the most part, and you've done some programming and you've served a substantial amount of time, 99% of the time you're released. It wasn't no circus like it was for O.J. Simpson, you know. But that's what he get for fucking with the crackers. And believe it or not, I'm willing to bet that he's gonna run back to the white community with his tail between his legs. Cause see, Steve Coakley tried to get O.J. Simpson on board. He did everything he could to get O.J. Simpson on board. Now, if you go and look at one of Steve Coakley's videos where O.J. Simpson was at one of the lectures, and Brother Steve allowed him to speak, and O.J. Simpson begged the black community to not give up on him, that he wasn't going to let the black community down. And so, you know, he went right out there and went right back to white supremacy on his motherfucking hands and knees, asking the cracker for another chance to sit among them and talk about Bruno Magli's shoes and all this bullshit, you know, and play golf with the motherfucking crackers, you know. Because if you look at some of the footage of O.J. Simpson in the 70s and 80s, this motherfucker, he was the founder of the Uncle Tom's Club. He was one of the founding fathers of the Uncle Tom's Club. You know, like I said, I'm not no O.J. Simpson fan, but the way they treat him, Dunham was fucked up, which he deserves, and we're just going to see how he's going to act once he's back in society. You know, where he's scheduled to be released around October. So we're going to see what O.J. Simpson's going to do. Tariq Nasheed was on Rock Newman's show the other day, and he was discussing the new documentary that they have coming out titled 1804, something like that, I believe. And I'm no Tariq Nasheed fan either, you know, and you can tell the way Tariq Nasheed was talking, you know, that he's a shady motherfucker. He is a shady motherfucker. Now, you know, once again, like I mentioned in previous videos, I give him credit for the Hidden Colors, his part that he played in it, even though it was white Jewish finance. A lot of people don't know that these crackers, you know, these white Jews, they damn near own the Hidden Colors series, you know, and Tariq Nasheed will call somebody else a coon, but yet he does some cooning. He does a lot of cooning shit. Bragging about he been on the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien and all this bullshit, and you know how him and Michael Moore, you know, are tight, and you know his affiliation with Steve Harvey and all this shit, and you know just a lot of fuck shit this nigga be doing, you know. But he will intellectually give you the impression, you know, that, you know, he's this hell of a motherfucking dude, you know, because he makes these little side remarks like, don't do any, what was that shit he was talking about? Don't, make any homemade, documentaries and all this shit, man. You know, get good quality shit. You know, in other words, you know, telling the brothers and sisters they need to go to the motherfucking crackers to get their shit done right. When it's not about the quality, I don't give a fuck what you say. The message is more important than anything. You give a fuck about. If you can see a video, if it's clear and you can see it and understand what the fuck is being said, because that's the whole key, getting the information. It ain't about the quality and, you know, having certain people and all this professional and all this bullshit, man. You know, being yourself is being as professional as you can be. Just be yourself. You know, and so many words he was saying, really, you know, don't trust and don't allow or include anybody of color, you know, unless they got white plugs. If they have white plugs, you know, those are what he calls skilled people and, you know, professional people. Because when he said that shit about your grandmother to be a makeup artist and all this shit, what he was saying was don't include any black family. You know, because he, like, once again, Hidden Colors is done by, you know, is financed by white so-called Jews. So he can't say anything to Tommy Sotomayor about shit. Because they really about on the same motherfucking boat. It's just Tariq talks more black. He talks more black. You know, and I just saw, you know, all that fuckery with Tariq Nasheed. It's a lot of fuckery, you know. But you know, once again, I'm gonna always support black businesses, and I know that, you know, 1804 is gonna have an abundance of information that can be used. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to purchase the DVD. I'm going to watch it and everything. But I'm not paying no $30 and all that bullshit. I'll get the bootleg edition where I'll buy it from somebody that looks like me. Because I know the Jew boy going to have, the Jews got their hands all in this motherfucking documentary too. You know, and that's my twist on Tariq Nasheed, but you have to see it for yourself. You know, how he tries to be cordial, but he's a nasty motherfucker. He is nasty. You know, and he doesn't talk nowhere near as professional or intellectual as he does when he's on that motherfucking radio show. When he's on that radio show, he's totally different. He be on some straight fuck shit, pimping and bitches and all this shit. You know, but then when he get in the spotlight, tries to talk all intellectual and, you know, and he just a fake ass fuck nigga, man. You know, it's just that simple. Motherfuckers say you hating, but I'm calling shit like I see it. You know, he had me fooled for a minute. You know, but that's cool too. Yeah, so, you know, he had me fooled, but, you know, I wish nothing but the best in terms of the documentary coming out. And, you know, it's nothing against anyone that's in the documentary. You know, I have respect for, you know, all of our scholars and lecturers that are committed. Let me repeat it, that are committed and that are honestly into what they talk about. You know, don't talk about fighting white supremacy when you on the side of the white supremacists, just because, you know, they done wrote you a couple of motherfucking checks. You know, and Conan O'Brien is all this, and Michael Moore, this big fat walking motherfucking intestine. He's just a stomach with legs. Just because he talks some of this old, you know, liberal white, poor white trash ass shit, you know, that people look at him, blacks look at him like he's on point, he's on the outside. He ain't on the outside, man. That fat piece of shit. All you gotta do is get a fucking chicken wing gun, you know what I mean, and aim it towards him, man. You know, and whoever got the chicken wing gun, that's whose side he's on. He's a piece of shit, man. You know, so all that Fahrenheit 911, all that got good information. But like I said, my thing is, you know, you gotta be for real when you off camera. Cause what don't come out in the wash gonna come out in the rinse. You know, it's just that simple. You know, I'm gonna be getting back with y'all briefly. I got some other things I gotta talk to y'all about. Hotep, Black Power.